warm-up to review how to do substitution, because I know it's been 2 long weeks of freedom, and you may have erased things from your mind over those 2 weeks. So we're going to go over this together, how to do this. If you want, you can go ahead and start. You don't have to copy the words, but copy the equations down. So we are going to do this. We have a new program. Actually, it's probably not new to you. You guys probably have used it before. But do you guys remember doing the STAR math whenever you guys were in elementary school? Like STAR math and reading test. It was linked to AR. Like you had to take your reading test and then set your AR goal. And there was also STAR math. So they have extended that up all the way to the 12th grade now. So we have to do the STAR math assessment. So we are going to go over this. We're going to do the STAR math assessment. And then after you finish the STAR math assessment, there's going to be a short substitution review assignment on Delta Math for you to do. Yes? The STAR math is not a grade. Delta Math will be. So there are, in general, I don't need to go over anything new for this semester. The only things you need to know is this semester is your Math 1 EOC. So you cannot be exempt from this exam. You have to take it no matter what. And you also, we also are going to start doing one thing differently. We're not going to do it today, but we'll start tomorrow since you guys are already in your seats. Every day whenever you come in, you are now going to come up here and you are going to grab your calculator. I put a list up here so you know which one you have. It may have shifted a little bit because I moved a couple of the calculators where a couple were missing. So your name may be in a different spot than it was before, so double check here. And as you grab your calculator, you're going to leave your phone here. Okay? So phones need to be in your calculator spot every day. They are not to be at your desk. Okay? Because I have found that it is becoming a constant distraction. Yes? If you have your own calculator, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to grab the calculator, but still drop your phone off for me every day. Okay? So we will start that tomorrow. We're not going to do it today. We will not use calculators every day in here, but we will use them a little bit more this semester than we did last semester. So I want you to grab them every day in case we need them. Okay? Any questions? Pull that mask up, please. Okay. All right, so let's go over these problems. Did not need to hit the record button. Just check that button. Yeah, go get one. Starting this new year off right. Look, Zane, you might need to be in on this. Having your pencil every day is an unrealistic goal for you, Wade. But here is your goal. That you will make it 2 weeks before you have to ask anybody else for a pencil. 2 full weeks.
I'll do my best. With the same pencil or with like different?
Just not having to ask anybody. So, I mean, it's okay if you run out of pencil and get a new one on your own, but you don't have to ask anybody else or a teacher for a pencil. Let's try 2 weeks. Okay? All right. So, let's review substitution. And really, I did not do a lot of problems like number 2 and number 3. We mostly did problems like number 1. So 2 and 3 are going to be a little bit of me going through how to do this. So substitution is when we take one of the pieces and plug it in for the other. So mostly what we saw, they were solved for y, and we just had to set them equal to each other. So we would say 4x plus 7 equals 3x minus 4. Okay, and now we just have an equation that we're going to solve. So, Owen, tell me what to do to solve that. Kind of. They're on opposite sides, so what do I have to do to combine them?
Minus 7 and minus 3x.
Let's do the 3x first, and we'll do it one at a time. I like to move my x's first, but you can do them at the same time. Just be really careful if you do. It'll be a -4, and then we would subtract that 7. So x would equal -13. Oh, sorry. Testing to make sure you're paying attention. Okay? Alright, then what do we need to do with this to find the other variable? Because we need the y also. What do you think, Jada? You plug in -11 for x, which equation? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, you could do either one. So I'm just going to pick that top one. Y equals 3 times -11 minus 4, which is -33 minus 4, which is going to give me -37. So remember, when we're solving systems of equations, our answer is a point. It's the point where these two cross. Right? Another way that we solve these is we graph them. This one obviously would be really hard to graph because it doesn't cross until you get to -11, -37. So it wouldn't, like if you were using your whiteboard, it would run way off of the whiteboard for that. Okay, questions? So the -11 right here is what we got for our x. So I took it and I just put it right here for my x. All right. So you could have used the second equation too. It doesn't matter which one you use. So I got 3 times -11 minus 4. And then you're just going to do your order of operations. So you multiply here and you get -33. Subtract 4. That gives you -37. Okay. All right, other questions on number 1? Okay, so 2 and 3 are a little bit different. So for 2, I've got x equals 2y minus 4, and I've got 2x plus 3y equals -1. Neither one of these are solved for y. So if I wanted, I could solve both of these for y and set them equal to each other. But that takes a lot of work just solving each one for y. Then you have to set them equal to each other and solve that. So here's what I suggest. I could, but I'm probably not going to give you one where I've asked you to do substitution, where at least one of them is not solved for y, or for a variable, okay? So if I would give you something like 2x plus 3y equals -1 and x minus 4y equals 17. Elimination is the best thing to use for that, so I'm not even going to worry about you using substitution. But here, x is equal to 2y minus 4. So you're going to have one of them that is already solved for a variable. So that's this one in this case. So it tells me that x is equal to this stuff right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2y minus 4 and I'm going to put it where the x is. Okay? So it's going to look like this. And I still write the 2. But instead of the x, I'm going to put some parentheses. And right here, instead of that x, I'm putting 2y minus 4. And then just write the rest of the equation like shown. Okay, so it's almost just like you just erase that x and put 2y minus 4. Now, if you've done it correctly, you should just have one variable, either all x's or all y's. In this case, we have all y's. So we're going to solve this equation. All right. So, Wade, what would I do first for this equation?
So you have to distribute.
Good. So that would give me 4y minus 8 plus 3y equals negative 1. And what would come next, Wade?
You would then combine like
Good. And what do I get whenever I put this 4y and the positive 3y together?
7y minus 8 is negative 1.
Perfect. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, what's next, Wade?
Plus 8.
Perfect. So 7y equals 7. And last thing,
You would divide, and then you get negative and y.
I think it should just be positive. All right, so y is 1. We need the other coordinate that goes with it. So for the other coordinate, we're going to take 1, and we're going to plug it back in for the y. Which equation would be easier to use, top or bottom for this one? Top one. The bottom one would be a lot harder. It will still work, but it's just a lot harder. For 1, it didn't matter. Either one was fine. But this one, we're going to put this here for our y. So x equals 2. Our y is going to be 1 minus 4. And so x equals 2 minus 4. So x equals negative 2. And so I've got negative 2, 1. Okay, any questions on number 2? All right, well, let's look at 3. For 3, we got y equals 1/2 x plus 5 equals x minus 2y equal to 12. So in this case, this first one is solved for y right here. So we're going to take whatever y is equal to, and we put it where the y is at in this case. So that's going to look like this. X minus 2 instead of y. I'm going to put parentheses. I'm going to put in my 1/2 x plus 5 equals 12. Okay, so we're going to distribute. When we distribute, what are we going to get, Peyton? Whenever we multiply, we're doing 2. That's like 2 over 1 times 1 over 2. Right, just straight across, so you get 2 over 2, which is just 1. It's going to be negative because you're taking that negative with it, so negative 1x, and then negative 2 times 5 is going to give us negative 10. Okay, Peyton, what would we do next? Let's deal with those x's first. That has a 1 in front of it. 1x minus 1x is 0. They're gone. Okay? So we end up with negative 10 equals 12. That's just wrong. What do we say whenever we get something that's just wrong? It is no solution. If it was 12 equals 12, then we would say infinitely many solutions. But for this one, it's clearly negative 10 does not equal 12. So that does happen sometimes, so beware. That might happen. Okay, questions? Okay, so you are going to have an assignment on Delta Math after you finish your STAR math assessment, okay? And that assignment will be your homework if you do not get to it. With pre-calculus, it took us about 45 minutes for them to take the STAR math assessment, but the STAR math is adaptive, so it means, like, if you get questions right, it's going to give you harder questions. If you miss questions, it'll give you easier questions. So if you're getting really hard questions, that's actually a good sign, because that might mean that that you have gotten a lot right and it's giving you harder questions. If it starts getting back to super easy stuff, it might not be a good sign. So